So how's it going, everybody? Hope you all doing well, hope you all doing great, and welcome back to another video after a year of being gone. Now, I'm not gonna go and explain where I've been and what I'm gonna do, yada yada yada. Thing is, what I wanted you to know is that a lot of great content are coming soon, so consider subscribing if you liked that video. So today's video is the $350 gaming PC build based on new parts. There is no mail-in rebates included, no extra shipping fees if you live inside the United States. So I'm gonna give you my route, and then I'm gonna go through an extra enhancements or extra alternatives if you want better performance or cheaper price or like faster time to get your PC up and running. So without wasting any more time, this PC is capable of playing games at 1080p pretty good, and it's even competing with the used gaming PCs, but it's all dependable on the GPU that's been the PC is housing. So let's get to it. So for the CPU, looking at the faster option, we are looking at the Ryzen 5 1600, but this one is in Micro Center with an in-store pickup only. So if you live near Micro Center, this deal is only for you. So with a compatible board and a Ryzen 5 1600, you get, or any AMD CPU in general, you get a $30 discount, which makes the overall cost around $100, which is pretty great. The Ryzen 5 1600 is a 6-core 12-threaded CPU, which is very good at gaming, video editing, and streaming, and anything you can actually do. I mean, that's a lot of cores and great IPC. The second option that everyone will get is the Ryzen 5 1400 from AliExpress. It's brand new or as listed. Maybe it's an open box, but this should not be a problem for you. A quad-core hyper-threaded CPU somewhere equivalent to a 2nd gen or even a 4th gen i7, which is pretty great for the price. As looking at the prices of the used i7s, you'd find it somewhere around that, maybe $40 or $50, and for $60 and an aftermarket CPU cooler, that's actually pretty great for the price. You really cannot go wrong at all in terms of gaming or video editing or anything of that kind, because it's actually pretty good. It will not bottleneck our GPU, and it's just a great value for the money. For the board, we're looking at the cheapest option for around $50 to $45. I can't remember if it's a Gigabyte or an ASRock one. A Macro 80X board, it does not support overclocking, which is a major disadvantage in my opinion, but you gotta do what you gotta do to fit the budget. It's got 2 DIMM slots, a PCIe Express 3.0, and it's got USB 3.0 again. So yeah, you really cannot go wrong. There isn't much to say about it. It's just a board for $50, so you cannot go wrong. It's the great bang for a buck. Now for the RAM, you can go with 2 sticks of 4GB of DDR4 RAM, so you can go dual channel, and this will actually make your PC faster, or you can go with a single stick and upgrade to 16GB in the future. And the second option is the one that I recommend, but I'd leave that to you. 8GB for now is okay, but I don't think it will be okay in the future. Now the only reason I didn't went for 2 4GB sticks of DDR4 is in the future, once I want to upgrade to 16GB of DDR4, I either would go to upgrade the motherboard, buy another one that supports 4 DIMM slots, or simply I'd sell the kit that I have and buy another kit. But that's so as the board, I would have to sell the A320M board and buy another one. That's the only reason I don't want to do that. So yeah, I would highly recommend you to go single stick of 8GB if you don't want to go through that. But if you think that you will already go through that, so yeah, a dual channel memory is actually more preferable and higher performer. So for the storage, I really would go for like a 480 or 500GB SSD, because SSDs right now is the way to go. They are very fast, very fast, comparable to the hard drives. But if you really have a big library, then I'd recommend you to go for like a 1TB hard drive and get like a 120GB SSD as your boot drive, because it will make a huge difference. Now for the case, we're looking at something HEC 210. That's a Micro 80X mini tower case. Now this one is priced for $30. It's got a glass side panel, front USB 3.0 and USB 2.0. It has 4 expansion slots, and it's in black, of course. It's got a hard drive and SSD base. It's a very basic, straightforward case, but it's cool that it has actually a side panel for the price. And yeah, $30 isn't the cheapest for PC cases, but right now this is the cheapest, so you can either wait for better deals or you can get that one. It's actually pretty good. And if you care much about your PC case looking good, you can add an RGB strip or RGB fans, as this one has actually a side panel. So yeah, you can show off and make your PC case look pretty cool. Now for the GPU, we're looking at the GOAT, the XFX RX 570 4GB version. It only requires an 8-pin connector. It's a 4GB GPU from AMD. It was released released, I believe 2 years ago, but right now it still packs a punch. It's still capable of gaming. It will be playing any game you want at 1080p, 60 frames per second guaranteed. Games like Overwatch, Fortnite, Apex Legends, any of those FPS games, you can get it all the way to 120 frames per second, but again, you have to get it to, you know, competitive settings. And the GPU will not be bottlenecked by our CPU, like a very minor bottleneck, because you know the bottleneck will be always there, but still you'll be able to play games at really decent settings with decent frame rates, no lags, no crazy 1% lows or anything like that. Very straightforward, good looking PC, a good looking GPU to match. Now for the power supply, we're looking at the PVA 500 watt power supply. That one got all the connections we need, but it's kind of, you know, it's actually a very rated and trusty power supply. But if you don't know a PVA, you can get an EVGA one, but they all go for around $30 to $35, which is in my opinion very expensive for a power supply with that wattage. I mean, I used to find the EVGA 430 watt ones for around $20, but right now power supplies are actually expensive. So you can wait for Black Friday, or you can wait for EVGA's midweek madness, which is in every Wednesday, and you'll find very good deals for the price. On PC Power Picker, we went around $25 over our budget, but it's completely worth it. But you can go cheaper by getting like saving $5 and buy like a new open box motherboard, and you can even go cheaper if you could go for a cheaper case and a cheaper power supply. Once you find better deals, you'd be saving a lot of money, and you would fit the 500GB SSD in the budget pretty well. You can also get an RX 470 or an RX 480 for around $100, maybe used. I don't know if it's used or brand new, but still is very guaranteed, very reliable, and you can get your money back if there is anything wrong. So yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. If you like that video, press on that like button, of course, and if you consider buying this PC, I will leave links in the description. I will get a small commission if you bought them through these links. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.